Ayan, so like what I have said, this is a continuation of our first two recordings in preparation for the diagnostic test in course audit 1, developmental psychology. Sige. So let's discuss developmental theories. Ito yung mga theories na we did not mention last time or we had limited time of discussing other developmental theories. In my previous lecture, discuss natin yung mga karaniwan na familiar na kayo like sila Freud, sila Erikson. Sige nga, let's have a rundown. Ano yung stages ni Freud? So, psychosexual stages, ano nga yun? Oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. Diba? That is OA palagi, right? OA palagi. Pag kay Erikson, ano yung stages ni Erikson? First is trust versus mistrust, then autonomy versus shame and doubt, then initiative versus guilt, then industry versus inferiority. And parang hindi kayo malito doon sa dalawa. Di ba minsan napagbabaliktad ng mga students yan yung dalawang I. Yung initiative versus guilt tsaka yung industry versus inferiority. Which comes first? Para hindi nyo malimutan, tandaan na nakaparallel yan kay Freud. Ano yung fourth stage si Freud? Di ba? OA palagi. Ano yung fourth stage? Latency. Bakit sa latency? Kasi nasa school. So which stage is it initiative versus guilt? Is it initiative versus guilt or industry versus inferiority? The one that's more related to school. Industry, di ba? You're being industrious, you're being inferior. So yun yung pang fourth stage na para hindi nyo malimutan. Okay? And tatandaan nyo rin, guilt is related to urge. Di ba? Yung guilt feelings is related to urge. Kaya yun ay related kay phallic stage. Kasi phallic stage is more on the urge. Di ba? Yung sexual urge ni child. You get that? Yan. So, ganun yan ha. Huwag nyo kakalimutan. Para hindi nyo siya malimutan. Then after that, what comes next? After the industry versus inferiority. Next is identity versus role confusion. Di ba? So, after that, what comes next? Okay, intimacy versus isolation, then generativity versus stagnation, and then integrity versus despair. Ego integrity versus despair. So, yun yung mga stages of development kay Erikson. What about yung virtues? Ano yung mga virtues na nade-develop kay Erikson? Tandaan nyo ha, ang ating acronym dyan ay, ano yung acronym natin dyan para hindi nyo malimutan? Pag kay Erikson, virtues, ang acronym ay, how Poco fooled cow. How Poco fooled cow. How Poco fooled cow. Parang statement siya, parang sentence, no? Finul ni Poco yung cow. How Poco fooled cow. Yung H, so that is hope. Then, how, W, next. Will, and then Poco, P, purpose, then competence, and then fidelity, and then love, diba? Full, and then cow, C is care, and then finally wisdom. O yan, parang hindi nyo malimutan yung sunod-sunod ha. So ang natin dyan, ang mnemonics natin dyan ay how Poco fooled cow. Okay, how Poco fooled cow. Diba? Ganun lang yan. You can build your own mnemonics para madali nyo ma-memorize sa mga yan. Anyways, during the board exam daw sa DevPsych, ang pinakamaraming question kay Erikson. Ang pinakamaraming question daw kay Erikson. Sige. Pero hindi lang yan, syempre may mga questions that you have to be familiar with, especially yung mga topics na pwedeng hindi na nadidiscuss minsan sa school. No, yung mga topics minsan na pwedeng hindi na siya nadidiscuss sa school. So, halimbawa, siguro dahil limitation of the time, pwedeng ganun, or nadaanan lang ng teacher, tapos hindi nyo na give emphasis on, yan, kaya minsan nalilimutan na rin. No? So, ano yung mga yan? So, we have here the developmental theories, other developmental theories. You have Baumrind's parenting style, you have Kohlberg's 6 stages of moral development. Hindi lang po siya 3 levels, no? There are 3 levels, pero in fact, there are 6 stages. Now, there are 6 stages of moral development by Kohlberg. And then Marshall's identity formation theory, Selman's stages of friendship, attachment theory, kay Ainsworth, kay Bartholomew, and then Sternberg's theory of love. Then Gottman's Four Horsemen of Relationship, Cherlin and Fastenberg's Grandparenting Styles, and then finally retirement. So yung mga iba pa na lumalabas sa board exam na baka hindi nyo na na-cover before. So maganda na dadaanan natin siya ulit. Okay? Ayan. So kay Baumrind, ayan, Baumrind's parenting style, usually familiar na kayo sa theory ni Baumrind. It's just that you don't remember na or you do not recognize na as to ito pala yung author. Ito pala yung theorist, yung pala yung name niya, no? Kasi Baumrind's parenting style, based on two dimensions or two factors of parenting, you have control and warmth, no? Control and warmth. So yung control, these are also referred to as the expectations or sometimes demands. These are the things that, for example, nag-uutos si parent, I like you to do this, do that. That is control, that is expectations. No, you expect your child to wash the dishes, do well in school. So parents sometimes give expectations to their children. Okay, that is control, that is expectation, or sometimes referred to as the demand. Okay, and then you also have warmth. Ano naman yung warmth or responsiveness? Kapag merong need sa child, okay, you're able to provide that. It may be emotional, it can be monetary, it can be physical needs, no, ni child, and then you can provide that. Okay, for example, need the child ng food, ng toy, something like that, no, anything that the recognition, okay, so possible yan, merong warmth and responsiveness, no, that is warmth and responsiveness. Okay, so each dimension can be high or low, and depending on the high or low dimensions, it can identify the type of parenting. Kaya you should be able to distinguish, halimbawa in the item, no, pagdating sa board exam or situation, anong klaseng parenting style kaya siya? Halimbawa, yung situation, si parent nagbigay ng command, pero wala namang binibigay ng warmth or any form of recognition or anything, no? Ayan, so you can identify anong klaseng type of parenting yon. You get that? So, ganun po yan, ha? So, you should be familiar in a situation, what type of parenting is this? Okay, by identifying based on the two factors. Halimbawa, so you have the authoritative. No? Pag sinabi the authoritative, there's high control and high responsiveness. Yan yung best form. No? Best form of parenting. No? Merong control and merong responsiveness. Kaya pag later on kayo, nagkaroon na kayo ng sarili nyong pamilya, no? You have your children, you have your own children, no? So, you should also, don't forget to give control. Huwag kayong matatakot magbigay ng command. Meron kasi mga parents na gusto nilang babyin yung mga anak nila all throughout na they only give warmth but they never give command. Diba? Ganun yun, no? So, dapat nagbibigay ka rin ng control ng command sa iyong mga anak. No? Emphasis on communication, appropriate negotiation. Halimbawa, this grading period, I'd like you to be amongst the top students, no? Yung with honors, ganyan, no? Pag naging with honors ka, anong gagawin natin? Ayan, you negotiate. Do you want to go somewhere if you get a good grade, something like that? So there's negotiation. There's communication between the parent and the child. That is authoritative. Okay? It's associated with children's competence and confidence. Bakit sila nagkakaroon ng competence? Kasi you give control, you give command. Okay? They learn from those commands that you tell them. For example, wash the dishes. Eventually, they will build skills. Diba? Like what we have said, training ground lagi natin yung ginagawa natin sa bahay pagdating sa outside world. Diba? Yung mga usually tamad sa bahay, sila rin yung tamad pagdating sa outside world. Diba? Nahihirapan makipag work. No? Yung mga work ethics, halimbawa, nahihirapan sila pagdating sa outside. Okay? Authoritarian parenting naman, ito yung mga traditional parenting. Even in the Philippines, no, yan yung traditional parenting style in the Philippines, considered as traditional Filipino parenting style. No? High control, low responsiveness. Okay? High control, low responsive. That's authoritarian parenting style. Parents may be overly strict and aloof. Ano problema dyan kapag yung parent naman is overly strict and aloof? Yung mga bata lumalayo. Okay? So rather than telling them na I had this, no, I had this kind of problem, di ba, may mga parents sa ganyan, nadapa ka na nga, pinagalitan ka pa. O, di ba? O, kasalanan mo yan, nadapa ka. O, di ba? Ano mo, ang lampa-lampa mo, so on so forth, kung ano pa sinabi, no? Kasi susunod, hindi ko na lang sabihin. O, you get that? Hindi na lang ako magkukwento kay nanay, kay tatay, kasi nasa sermonan lang ako. O, kaya pagka ngayon, halimbawa, iniwan siya ng boyfriend niya, ng girlfriend niya, di malungkot siya, no? Iniwan ng boyfriend ng girlfriend, hindi ngayon magsabi kay nanay. Tatay. Bakit? Nung nadapa ako, namura pa ako nung nadapa ako. Ngayon pa kayo, di ba? Ngayon pa kayo niloko ako. Di ba? Something like that. Baka hindi na silang magsabi. They become aloof. Yan. Children may fear rather than respect their parents. No? That's what you call as authoritarian parenting style. Yan. So, wala namang problema if you give command to your children. Pero make sure that you're able to show warmth. Yun ang importante, no? Walang problema if you are giving commands to your children. Okay, pero as long as you also show warmth. Iba kasi parang hindi nila ma-reconcile yung dalawa. No, it's either I give command only, parang boss, parang ganyan sa workplace. Okay, but they tend to forget or they forget to show warmth to their children. Ayan, no? And then next, you also have permissive. Iba naman ang perception nila kapag parenting, bigay ka lang ng bigay. No, puro lang warmth. Ayan, low control, high responsiveness. So whatever the child needs, you provide. Nagbibigay ng utos, walang utos, hayaan mo na ako nang gagawa. O, di ba meron naman mga nanay na ganyan, na hindi na mautusan yung mga anak. Sino maghugas ng pinggan? Lahat si nanay. Sino maglalaba? Lahat si nanay. Wala nang ginawa yung anak. Anong ginawa ng anak? Maglaro lang na maglaro. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Permissive. No, permissive. Yan, kasi you might think na permissive ba, sir? Doon lang sa mga mayayaman na families? Not necessarily. Kasi meron din naman mga parents na they do all the tasks. They do not require anything from their children. O, diba? So that's permissive parenting style. So now you know, no, pag kayo naging parent na later on, saan kayo dapat lulugar? No? You give command, but at the same time, you show warmth to your children. Okay, no? Permissive. And finally, yung uninvolved. Ito na yung pinaka, sabihin na natin na sana hindi na naging parent. Imagine that. Ayan, yun yung mga usually nagkakos ng psychological disorders later on, specifically yung RAD tsaka DSED. No, ano yung RAD? Reactive Attachment Disorder tsaka Disinhibited Social Engagement Disorder. Ayan, yung mga neglectful na parents, no? They do not give command, they also not permissive as well. Parang hindi parent, imagine that. Ano sila? Casual, nung kanilang, kamusta kayo? Casual kami, casual, ganyan. Yan, uninvolved, low control, low responsiveness. Associated with worst outcomes for children. Yan, so ito yung diagram natin, no, nung 4 parenting styles, table 4.3. So there are expectations and control, and then warmth and responsiveness. Kapag both are low, we call that as uninvolved. Kapag both are high, we call that as authoritative. By the way, other term ng uninvolved is neglectful, ha? Neglectful. Other term niyan, neglectful. Hindi lang siya uninvolved. Sometimes also referred to as neglectful. RAD, Reactive Attachment Disorder. DSED, Disinhibited Social Engagement Disorder. Disinhibited Social Engagement Disorder. Mga ano yan, mga bagong disorder yan nasa DSM-5. Hindi na siya bago kasi may DSM-5-TR na eh. Pero DSM-5-TR siya nag-start. DSM-4-TR wala pa siya. Okay, so that's related to this kind of parenting, no? Okay, so kapag high naman, ulitin natin, no, para hindi nyo malimutan kasi may mga students na nalilito sa authoritarian, authoritative. Alin po ba yung maganda, sir? Authoritative, authoritarian? Kasi para silang may word na author, no? Para silang may word na authority. Nauli lang yung Arderian or Tiv, no? Yun lang na iba. So how do you differentiate? Para hindi nyo malimutan, tandaan yung authoritarian ends with N. N means negative. No? N negative. Authoritarian, negative. Authoritative, merong letter T, positive. T para siyang positive, no? Yung T parang cross. Positive. So authoritative, positive. Authoritarian, negative. Ayan, para hindi nyo malimutan, ano ba sa dalawa yung mas maganda? Is it authoritative or is it authoritarian? Sagot ay authoritative. Okay. Good. Ayan. Now we move on to all work stages of moral development. Another theory of development na we usually tend to forget, pero relevant din yan pagdating sa board exam. Nung basta sa board exam, anong stage? May situation, there's a problem, no? May situation, there's a problem, and then lumabas, no? Anong stage kaya yung individual being described? Is it stage 2, stage 1, stage ganun, ano? And then identify, hindi siya identified na stage 1, yung actual na label. Na yung actual na label ng stage na yun ang naging question. Yun ang naging option. Okay, yung actual na label ng stage. Okay, ha? Okay, just to clarify also, si Kohlberg's stage of moral development, not everyone accomplishes this stage. Unlike in Erickson's theory or Freud's theory, okay, so you pass through different stages, di ba? Pero kay Kohlberg, hindi. Usually, we only end at conventional morality. Not everyone passes through all the stages. Okay? Pinakamadalas, we end at conventional only. Yung iba hanggang pre-conventional pa rin hanggang ngayon. Yung majority hanggang conventional. And then there are only very few who reaches post-conventional. Okay? So, ganun po yan ha, just to give you an idea. So, kapag sinabi nating pre-conventional, tandaan nyo, no? Ayan, focuses on self-interest. Or basically, the basis of morality is self. Tandaan ha? Kapag pre-conventional level of morality, the level of morality is based on, or the basis of morality is on self. Is this good for me? Is this bad for me? This becomes moral if this is bad for me. This becomes immoral if this is bad for me. Okay, this is moral if this is good for me. Okay, ang basis niya lagi, sarili. That is pre-conventional. Pag sinabi naman natin conventional, coming from the word convention, di ba? When you say convention, group of people, marami. Ang basis mo na dito, other people. Others na yan, society. No? People care about the effect of their actions on others. That's your keyword, others. Okay? Will this be good for others? Do others believe that this is a good behavior? If others see this action as a good behavior, then I'll do it. It's moral because others say so. Others says so. I'll do it. It's moral because this is beneficial for others. You get that? That is conventional morality. Ang basis niya ay ibang tao. Other people. Pag post-conventional naman, paano yung post-conventional? Okay? Post-conventional naman, ang benefit na niya, hindi na self and others lang, but both. Okay? Both na po yan. Ano? Higher universal. That's why you call it universal. It means it's good for others and it's also good for you. Okay? Post-conventional morality. Higher universal ethical principle of conduct may or may not be reflected in the law. So, ganun yung post-conventional morality. May or may not be reflected in the law. No? Post-conventional morality. So, discuss natin yan isa-isa. Ito yung mga stages. Okay? Under level 1, you have stage 1 and stage 2. So, yung stage 1, punishment and obedience. No? Punishment and obedience. Yan yung mga options sa board exam. No? Hindi yung number, but rather the description of it, the title. The title of the stage. Ayan, no? Punishment and obedience. Itong situation na ito ay punishment and obedience. Yan. Physical consequences of actions determine its goodness or badness. Halimbawa, why do you go to church? Other people goes to church. Why? Because they don't want to go to hell. Pag di ka rin nagsimba, pupunta ka sa impyerno. Anong klaseng morality pala yan pag ganyan yung level of morality mo? Stage 1, pinakamababa. Pinakamababang morality pala yan. Ano? If others are saying, if you don't go to church, you will go to hell. That is stage 1. Beneficial siya sa sarili. Okay, that's punishment and obedience. Stage 1. Okay? Stage 2. Ano yung stage 2 morality? Instrumental relativist orientation. Paano naman yung instrumental relativist motivation? Ang keyword nyo dyan, benefit. Kung yung isa, punishment, ito naman, reward, benefit. What do I benefit from going to a church, for example? Yan. Yung iba, why do they go to church? Ay, kasi merong blessing. Diba? May blessing. Pag pumunta ako sa church, pag nagsimba ako, may blessing. Get that? Ayan. Anong level of morality yon? Pre-conventional. Instrumental relativist orientation. Nandun siya sa slide, you can download that. For now, you can refresh, baka meron na. Yung iba na-download yun na? Wala pa? You can refresh later. Sa akin, sa end ko kasi, na-upload na siya. I-refresh siya later ha. Stage 2, may mga naka-download. Yung PPT?
Yung level 1,
walang laman? Hindi nag-appear? Ay, ba't ganyan? Nagluloko? Baka nagloko lang yung file. Anyways, I will re-upload it later. Ayun, meron sa iba, oh. Meron sa iba. Baka sa internet lang. Baka sa internet. It's okay. I will upload it naman, or you can check it out later. Kung na-download ng iba, malamang mada-download nyo rin yan. Plus, aside from that, pati yung lecture natin ngayon, i-upload ko rin sa later sa Canvas, no? Para mabalikan nyo later on. Okay, so going back to stage 2, paano yung stage 2? Instrumental relativist orientation. Most of the time, this is more on the benefit. Diba? So, doing it will have a benefit on your end. Halimbawa, going to church, no? So, you'll have a certain benefit. So, that is instrumental relativist orientation. You get that? Yan, ganun yun. No? Why do you do good things? Kasi may balik daw, may good karma. Diba? Ganun yung belief ng iba, no? Ayan, why do you do good things? Kasi because of good karma. That is instrumental relativist orientation. Okay, when you do, kaya nga iba, diba, sabi nila, when you do something good, don't expect something in return. Kasi if you expect something in return, parang lumalabas, mababang level of morality lang yun. Okay, mababang level of morality lang. So that is pre-conventional morality. Okay? So ganun po yun. So stage 1, stage 2. Yan. So punishment and instrumental relativist orientation. Kapag conventional, you have the good boy, good girl. Yan. Stage 3 is good boy, good girl. As you notice here, when you say good boy, good girl stage, what does it suggest? It is how people view you as an individual. Stage 3, good boy, good girl. Good boy, good girl. So yung stage 3, conventional, good boy, good girl, stage of morality. What is this naman? On the other hand, ito naman yung view ng public. Is this action viewed as a good action? Conventional na, no? Ano na ang basis ng morality mo? Others. Others will see this as something good. Others will see this, di ba? Kaya you consider it as moral. Okay? So, the others believe, you are a churchgoer. So, what does a churchgoer do? Well, of course, they go to church, di ba? Something like that. They do good things. Get that? Yan. That's what others will see as something good, no? So, that is good boy, good girl, stage of morality. Good behavior is whatever pleases or helps others and is approved by them. No, approved by others. Once one earns approval by being nice. So that is good boy, good girl morality. Again, kung papapansin ninyo, parang may benefit din sa sarili, no? Kasi nakikita ka as a good person. Pero kung titignan mo, yung view of morality there now includes others. Ang basis mo na, ano bang sabi ng public na good behavior? You get that? So that is stage 3, good boy, good girl morality. Stage 4, law and order. You don't want any bad thing that will happen to the society. You don't like chaos. You want the public to have its benefit. Okay? You want the public to have its benefit. That is law and order. Okay? Why are there law and order? Kasi you want to avoid chaos dun sa public. No, if you do not follow a certain rule, halimbawa, kung lahat na lang nadadaan sa palakasan, halimbawa, there are no rules, di gugulo ang society, wala nang sistema. You get that? Yan, then yung stage 4. Again, benefit pa rin siya, ang basis pa rin niya ay other people. No, others pa rin, others benefits pa rin. Doing, right is doing one's duty, showing respect for authority, and maintaining the given social order for its own sake. Imagine, bakit merong 10 commandments? As you notice, that is law and order, no? Imagine niyo na lang kung walang 10 commandments, baka kabitan yung mga may asawa, no? You know what I mean, no? Ang dami mong, you get what I'm saying? Ayan. Sa Islam naman, of course, they're allowed to have many partners, especially for guys, pero may rule pa rin sila doon. Anong rule ng Islam for that? Kasi you might ask, so ibig mo sabihin sa Islam pala mali na. Hindi, sa Islam kasi meron pa rin silang rule. Anong rule nila? Dapat kaya mong pakainin. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi maganda trabaho mo, you have limited finances, hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng pangalawang asawa. Magkakaroon ka lang, papayagan ka lang ng pangalawa, pangatlong asawa, kung establish yung finances mo, kaya mong buhayin, kaya mong magkaroon ng maraming mga anak sa iba't ibang mga nanay. You get that? May rule pa rin sila at the end of the day. Get that? Hindi naman nila inaalaw na, sige, pwede ka mag-asawa ng marami, kahit sino lang, pwede ba yun? Hindi, meron pa ring rule. Nakuha natin? So, pasok pa rin siya doon. Meron pa ring harmony dun sa society despite such kind of rule. You get that? Pero sa Christian religion, no, Catholic Christian, talagang totally bawal. No, totally bawal yung magkaroon ng extra marital relationships, di ba? Kasi gugulo, imagine. No, kung walang ganong klaseng rule. Paano yung mga bata? Magko-question yung mga bata, bakit siya ganito, ganyan? You get that? Anong effect niyan sa mga bata? Laging tinitignan mo ngayon, society, law and order. Okay? Stage 5, ayan, social contract orientation. No, social contract orientation. What is right is defined in terms of general individual rights and in terms of standards that be agreed on by the society. In stage 4, laws or process, they can be changed for the good of the society. Kung merong law and order, kumbaga sa law, sa ethics na class, ito yung tinatawag natin deontology. Yung level, yung stage 4 ha. Ulitin ko, yung stage 4, deontology yan. Deontology. So, pag sinabi mong deontology, you have to be strict with the laws. Kung ano yung laws you follow. Ganun yan. Ito kasi yung agreed laws. Pagdating sa stage 5, meron ng social contract orientation, you may not follow the law anymore. Because there's a certain benefit in not following it in certain situations. Paano yun, sir? For example, is killing bad? Is killing bad? Killing is bad, no? May law niyan. Merong nasa 10 commandments yan, bawal ang pumatay. Paano naman ang mga pulis? Paano mga sundalo? Paano, say for example, this is a life and death situation, self-defense. Nakuha natin? Sa Bausi, in fact, sa Bausi, batas yan ha, sa Bausi, in fact, if someone is diagnosed with battered women syndrome, they may in any time kill their partner if they want to and they are not, they will not be accused of any violation. They're not liable to any crime. Nasa Bausi yan, nasa batas yan. Kapag diagnosed yung babae ng battered women syndrome, diagnosed ha, so dapat may diagnosis siya ng PTSD. And say for example, napatay niya yung kanyang partner. Walang yan, hindi dahil sa self-defense, kahit hindi because of self-defense, siya ba ay liable to any crime? Hindi po. So, imagine that, ano? Yan. And pagpatay, bawal. Okay, get what I'm saying? So, pwedeng mabago yung batas. That is social contract orientation. If there's a certain benefit for such action, for example, terrorists, napanood nyo na yung Zero Dark 30? In a movie? Lumang film na siya actually. Lumang film na siya. The movie is about yung hunt nila kay Bin Laden. Paano na-track down si Bin Laden, no? Paano sila hinunt. Pag pinanood yung film, parang medyo brutal, no? Actually, it's brutal. It's actually a brutal film. Kung paano nila patayin yung mga terrorist, talagang parang mga hayop. Parang mga hayop talaga kung patayin nila yung terrorist. Kung paano nila torturein yung mga possible informants, talagang kawawa, no? And what is that for? Ayan, ang idea nila, because we want justice, we want so on, so this will be beneficial. Baka masundan pa ulit, may iba ulit mamatay, so on so forth. May next tragedy na naman. So, may mga ganong, you get that? So there are rules, yes, pero pwede yung mabago if that is beneficial for others. You get that? In other words, i-relate mo yan sa theory, sa philosophical view, sa stage 5 is similar to utilitarian perspective. Diba? Para siyang utilitarian. That the ends justifies the means. Kahit yung means mali, pero yung ends naman ay maganda, okay lang, no problem. Maganda naman naging output eh. You get that? Ayan yung social contract orientation. Okay lang pumatay kung beneficial naman siya. Parang ganun yung idea, no? Stage 6, universal ethics principle. Ito naman, meron ka ng unifying philosophy. No? You now have a unifying philosophy in life. That you have summarized all other principles, all other ethical rules into one belief. No, hindi ka na naniniwala ngayon na merong different individual set of rules. Okay, meron ka lang pinaniniwala na one overall principle, okay, morality in life. Ganyan yan, ano? Universal ethics principle. And this is very idiosyncratic for every individual na makaka-develop nito. When you say idiosyncratic, unique. No, unique siya to every person. Kaya kung mapapansin mo, hindi lahat magkakaroon nito. Bakit? Kasi you need to have a certain level of intelligence to build such morality. You get that? One best example of that it would be Jesus Christ. Ano yung ginawa example ni Jesus Christ? Sinamarize niya yung Ten Commandments. From Ten Commandments, nakabuo na lang siya ng one overall principle. Ano yung one overall principle niya? Golden Rule. Okay, Golden Rule, no? Well, in fact, yung example ng book, Golden Rule. Pero sa Bible, hindi talaga Golden Rule. Kasi yung Golden Rule, hindi naman kay Jesus yun eh. Hindi naman kay Jesus yun. Historically, hindi naman kay Jesus ang Golden Rule. May nauna na nagsabi niyan before Christ. Bigla tayo yung Bible study. No? Bigla tayo yung Bible study. Yung parang pinaka-general rule talaga ni Christ dyan would be love others and love God. As you love, paano ba yun? Basta something like that. No? Basta something like that. Sinamarize lang niya sa dalawa yun. Okay? Parang love God as you love yourself, something like that. Or love others as you love yourself. Parang ganun. Parang ganun yung idea niya. Pero yung don't do unto others what you don't want others do unto you, something like that. If I'm not it's a Chinese, you can search for that. No? I forgot the name. Pero it's Confucius ba? Parang Confucius, no? Parang Confucius. Ayan. So, parang si Confucius yata. I'm not entirely sure, ha? Okay, so that's essentially it. Post-conventional morality. Nakuha po rin natin. We get them? Ayan. So, memorize natin yung stages na yan. We should know distinctly how different one stage is from another. Get that? Ayan. Pero to cut it short, nakukuha natin.
Sir, out of curiosity lang po. For instance, sir, di ba yung stage ng person is in conventional wherein they follow law and order. And then there are some people who, for example, due to past experiences or trauma, parang they change their philosophy na maging self-centered. For example, before, very giving siya to other people, but then because he was taken advantage of, nag-regress to parang I will take care of myself and like I will prioritize myself over others. So would that be a regression that's a stage, or is that like nag-evolve siya to post-conventional but then more on may sarili na siya?
At the end of the day, it depends on how the person justifies it. Kasi kung papansin mo yung post-conventional, it's more of the justification. So how do you justify the immoral action? Na what others believe as moral. And something like that. Na halimbawa, having extramarital affair. Diba? Having extramarital. For most people, that would be considered as immoral. Pero for some people, that may be considered as moral. Bakit? Halimbawa, that person needs love and care. While children also needs love and care. Pwede naman siya available. Why not? Nakukuha natin. That can be beneficial for the two of you. Although not everybody benefits from it kasi meron pa rin isang individual na hindi naman magbe-benefit. Or for example, hindi na nag-work yung relationship. Ano ba? Ganito, no? Hindi na nag-work yung relationship ng kasal. Hindi na nag-work yung relationship. So ngayon itong si Kabet, nag-offer ng something. Relationship, no? Yung relationship. So because of this relationship, maybe that one person will be freed of the legal bounds. You get what I'm saying? Baka mas maging masaya pa siya. Di ba? Pagka nagkaroon ng affair yung kanyang asawa. So kung titignan mo maigi, at the end of the day, it depends on how you justify it. You get that? Ayan. Pero kung ang paniwala mo lang, halimbawa, ang paniwala mo lang ay, kasi this is only be masarap, ganyan, no, may, then that's a lower level of morality ever since. You get that? Ganun yan, ano? You understand? At the end of the day, how does one person justifies it? Na-justify ba niya yung actions niya? Kahit na mukha siyang immoral. So parang ganun, no? Kung titingnan nyo, kay Kohlberg pala, pwedeng maging immoral for some yung action, pero moral for that person. Or moral for a certain number of people. Okay? You get that? At the end of the day, ano ba yung kinoconsider niya? Para kanino ba yung kinoconsider niya? Yan. Tulad yan, yung halimbawa, yung divorce, di ba? Walang divorce sa Philippines. We're the only country except for Rome, ang walang, Vatican, ang walang divorce. Dalawa na lang ang walang divorce. Imagine that. Di ba? It's only Philippines and Vatican ang wala. O natural ang Vatican, hindi maglalagay ng divorce yan. Ang meron tayo, annulment. O annulment lang meron tayo, which is very difficult to prove. Annulment, kasi you have to prove that before the marriage, hindi na valid yung kasal. O, di ba? Ang hirap i-prove na. Halimbawa, may psychological incapacity. Dapat yung psychological incapacity po nangyari before the marriage. Ganun yan. Before the marriage pa yung psychological incapacity. Hindi during the marriage. O yan, na-depress ka during the marriage. Can that be utilized as a grounds for annulment? Psychological incapacity? Hindi yun psychological incapacity. Dapat nangyari yung disorder before the marriage. So, anong disorder ang ginagamit karaniwan? PD. Halimbawa, PD, personality. Halimbawa, ang favorite niyan ay narcissistic. Kasi ang narcissistic, can they love others? No, sino yung pwede nilang i-love? Sarili lang nila. Are they good for marriage?
No.
You cannot be in marriage if you only love yourself, right? Kaya yan ang favorite ng mga psychologists pagdating sa psychological incapacity, NPD. Yan. Dapat ma-prove natin na may NPD ka sa korte para yung marriage nyo ma-void, ma-annul. Kasi ang NPD or ang PD nagde-develop based on research, kaya na siya nagde-develop during adolescence pa lang. Diba? Full-blown siya young adulthood. Kailan ang marriage nyo? Pagdating ng young adulthood nauna yung development ng personality mo before the marriage. Okay, get that? So, may yung mga work around dyan. Okay, so, ayan, going back to what we were telling, we're talking about Erickson's identity versus role confusion. Saktong-sakto. We're talking about identity, no? Ayan, so Erickson's identity versus role confusion, part of its theory is what? Yung extension ni James Marcia. No, extension ni James Marcia, which is what we call as the identity formation theory. Okay, identity formation theory. That is very much associated. Kailan yun? Context yun during the adolescence. No, kasi you form your identity during adolescence. Ayan. Confusion and experimentation regarding identity and one's life path. Kaya mapapansin nyo, no? When we talk about identity, anong klaseng identity ba pinag-uusapan natin? That can be self-concept, ba? That can be religious orientation. Kasama yan, identity mo rin yan. Kasama rin yung orientation mo, ano pa, sexual orientation mo. Kaya mapapansin nyo, may mga individuals na minsan attached sa babae, minsan sa lalaki. Di ba, no? Hindi mo sure entirely kung ano talaga yung identity niya. Are you homosexual? Hindi ako sure for now. You get that? Yan. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na, what we call a psychological moratorium. Okay, pag sinabi psychological moratorium, you delay. Okay, you delay the commitment to an identity. I'd like you to highlight here the term commitment. Kasi identity is a commitment. Okay, so when you say identity is a commitment, you commit to it, you decide to be like this. That is your decision. It's a decision to be someone. You get that? It's a decision to be someone. It's my decision to be this person. It's my decision to become industrious. It's my decision to take up psychology. It's my decision to be a mental health worker later on. It's my decision to, kung ano man yung decision mo, it's a commitment. And you hold on to that. Okay? You hold on to that decision. Ganun yung commitment, no? You build identity by holding a certain decision, no? Commitment. Yan. Commitment to an identity while exploring the options. So that's what you call as moratorium. Most identity formation may not occur until early adulthood. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na emerging adulthood. I think I did mention that last time. Now, kapag sinabi natin emerging adulthood, that's a new concept. That's age 18 or 19 up to 25. Okay? 19 to 25 yung psychological, yung emerging adulthood. Bakit siya tinatawag ng emerging adulthood? Kasi hindi pa na fully form yung identity ng individual during adolescence. Supposedly, it should be fully formed during adolescence. Pero it did not. Yan. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng what we call as emerging adulthood. So these are the states, statuses of an individual during identity formation. No, it may not be a stage, no, but these are status of an individual. Okay, so yung dalawang components of identity formation. Ano yung dalawang components? You have commitment and you have exploration. No, commitment and exploration. Yun yung dalawang factors of identity formation. You have commitment and exploration. Tandaan nyo na, commitment and exploration. So kapag merong commitment to an identity and then you explored it, in-explore mo, naghanap ka ng identity and you found it, ang tawag natin doon ay identity achievement. Okay? Identity achievement. Naghanap ka on your own ng identity, you explored, okay, possible identities, and then you found it, you committed on one. Ang tawag natin doon identity achievement. Achievement po yan, ha? Kaya achievement di ba? Na-achieve. In-explore mo, na-achieve mo. Nag-commit ka on one. That's identity achievement. Pag hindi naghanap, at wala ring na-achieve, wala ring commitment to an identity, hindi siya naghanap, hindi rin naging committed, ang tawag naman natin doon ay identity diffusion. Identity diffusion. Did you listen to my recorded lecture? Yung second? Diba? Very interesting yan, no? Very interesting yung identity formation, especially in the following stages, especially in the intimacy versus isolation stage. Diba? Very interesting yan. And going back, sa tawag natin na identity diffusion, walang exploration, hindi naghanap ng identity at hindi rin nag-commit on one. Tawag natin ay identity diffusion. Pag sinabi naman nating moratorium, there's exploration pero wala pa ring commitment. Ibig sabihin, hanap pa rin siya ng hanap. No? Until now, he's still looking for a certain identity. Okay? Hindi pa siya sure kung ano talaga siya. Questioning pa rin siya kung ano talaga yung kanyang identity. It may be in terms of career, in terms of sexuality, in terms of his self-concept, hindi pa rin siya sure. Okay? That is what you call a psychological moratorium. Pag sinabi naman nating foreclosure, paano yung foreclosure? No? Walang exploration pero may commitment. Bakit sir may commitment kagad hindi naman siya na-explore? Kasi yung public binigay sa kanya. Okay? Ano yung identity na binigay ng public sa kanya? For example, family. Nakita mo yung family mo, very much of a certain political group. No, yung family mo, deeply rooted sa kanila na sila ay dilawan. No? Ganyan. Okay, yung isa naman ay BBM. Nadama yan. For example, no? And then you just agree, kasi si nanay, si tatay, ganito. Ito yung pinaniniwalaan sa family na, o sige, kunyari career na lang, Huwag na politics. Magulo pa pag politics. Kunyari career na lang. Kasi sa family namin, puro kami military. O so dapat mag-military ako. You get that? Sa family namin, puro kami, halimbawa, doktor. O so dapat mag-doktor ako. Kahit na, in reality, ang gusto niya, arts. O gusto pala niya magbanda, halimbawa. Puro doktor kasi sa family, magdo-doktor ako. Anong tawag doon? That is identity foreclosure. You did not explore an identity, you just followed what the public says what you should be. Get that? So, walang exploration pero may identity. So, identity foreclosure ang tawag natin. Ako po? Yan. So, pagdating sa board exam or sa items sa board exam, no, you should be able to distinguish. Ito ba ay identity diffusion? Ito ba ay moratorium? Ito ba ay foreclosure or achievement? Hahanapin mo, nag-explore ba siya? Okay? Nagkaroon ba siya ng commitment to an identity? So, kung wala siyang commitment to an identity, it can be either, kung wala siyang commitment to an identity, he can be either diffusion or moratorium. Kasi wala siyang nakuhang identity, no? Wala pa siyang identity. Pero kapag may identity na siya, it's either achievement or foreclosure. Okay, no? Ganun po yun. Meron tayong tinatawag na what we call as mama cycling. No, meron tayong tinatawag na mama cycling. Just say for example, na-encounter nyo later on. Ano yung mama cycling, sir? Mama cycling. M-A-M-A cycling. Kapag sinabi yung mama cycling, that is referring to moratorium achievement. Okay, moratorium and achievement. Ibig sabihin, may mga individual who goes through moratorium. Ibig sabihin, dinelay nila identity nila, then found one, and then eventually after finding one, does that mean close na yung chance that he may have any revision to his identity? Hindi. May possibility na i-delay nila ulit, hindi ulit sila sure. I'll find another. And then achieve to another one again. You get that? That is what you call as mama cycling. And you would notice even for adolescents, nakikita natin yun. May mga adolescents that they are not entirely sure ano ba talaga sila, no? Ayan, in terms of sexuality, in terms of their likes, their dislikes, so on and so forth, no? So, paiba-iba, nagbabago-bago. Kaya nga, like what we have said, di ba? This is very troublesome. Kanya, halimbawa, diffusion ka, wala kang identity, no? Diffusion. Or say, for example, moratorium sa individual. Imagine finding a partner like that. No? Imagine finding a partner who is in diffusion or in moratorium. Ibig sabihin, wala silang identity, hindi sila sure. Ang tanong, ikaw kaya talaga ang gusto niyan? Diba? Kasi kung hindi siya sure kung anong gusto niya, baka mamaya, diba, at the end of the day, hindi pala ikaw ang gusto niyan. You get that? And it's important in psychology that we match, no? Merong match yung identity ninyo. Diba? Hindi pwede yung, hindi kayo nagmamatch. Opposites attract is a scam. Opposites attract is a scam. Pang-magnet yun, pang-magnet. Magnet ka ba? Pang-magnet lang yun. Ano? Kasi nga you will have conflicts. You will always have conflicts if opposites attract. O halimbawa, tamad siya, masipag ka. What will happen? You get that? Type A siya, type B ka. You know, type A, type B, di ba? I-O? Type A, type B? So, sino yung always on the go? Type A, type B? Type A, always on the go. Sino yung mga competitive? Always on the go. Type A. Di ba yung mga type A? Pero sino yung mga relax? Happy-go-lucky? Type B. Pagsamahin mo yung dalawang yan, ang hirap. Sabihin lagi na, ba't ang tamad-tamad mo? You get that? You're not meeting the standards. You're pulling me down. Di ba? Totoo naman, di ba? Totoo naman, right? Totoo naman, di ba? Ganun yun, type A, type B. Pero kung parehas kayong type A, you're both competitive and you love each other, tendencies na intindihan niya. Lagi kang busy, okay lang. Ako rin naman, laging busy. Naintindihan ko kung ba't lagi kang busy. You get that? Parehas kayong relax. Problema ba yun? Hindi yun problema sa yun. Netflix and chill kayong dalawa. Lagi. Diba? Netflix and chill kayong dalawa lagi. Walang problema doon. May konting kita, gastusin ka agad yung kita elsewhere. Okay lang yun. Walang problema. Parehas tayo ng identity. You get that? At the end of the day, it's matching. Nagmamatch ba kayo ng identity? Pero kung di kayo nagmamatch, diba? Conflict will always arise. No? Conflict will always arise. No? Kaya, mas maganda that you find someone that more or less a similarity with your personality. Okay? But if you differ, mahirap yun. All the more na mahirap yung hindi niya alam. No? All the more na mahirap yung hindi niya alam. Kasi pwedeng ngayon, ikaw gusto niya, mamaya hindi na. Diba? Yan ang problema. Okay, we move on now to Selman's stages of friendship. Selman's stages of friendship. Yeah, so may stages of friendship din, no? Stage 0, wala pang friendship, no? Stage 0. This is momentary playmateship. Yan, so pag momentary playmateship, you just notice na siya yung merong toy. Meron siyang ganito, meron siyang ganyan. That is stage 0 momentary playmateship. Okay, egocentric, materialistic friendship. Stage 1 naman, one-way assistance. What do you mean by one-way assistance stage 1? Okay? Beneficial this time sa self. Beneficial sa self. Okay? Why are you in friends with others? Because it's beneficial for the self. That is stage 1. That is stage 1 friendship. One-way assistance. Friend ba tayo? Samahan mo ako mag-CR. Di ba friends tayo? Samahan mo ako mag-CR. Ayaw mo ko samahan mag-CR? Hindi na tayo friends. Di ba? That is one-way assistance. Okay? May mga suggested age dito, just to clarify. May mga suggested age, yes, pero at the end of the day, that may also be applied in the span of your relationship with your friend. Di ba? Sometimes like that. Minsan may mga kilala kayo na recently na-meet nyo lang. You get that? Yung length of friendship may minsan nakadepende kung do I benefit from this or not. Di ba? Pag stage 2 naman, two-way fair weather cooperation. This time, paano yung two-way fair weather cooperation? Mutual yung benefit. Hindi lang one-way benefit, but mutual yung benefit. Okay? Mutual yung benefit. Give and take. Like for example, sinamahan kita mag-CR dati. Samahan mo naman ako ngayon. Di ba? Ganun yan. Give and take. Two-way. Aside ko one-way. Two-way fair weather. Two-way fair weather cooperation. Two-way fair weather cooperation. So mutual, no? Give and take yung kanilang relationship, no? I benefit from you, you benefit from me as well. Okay? Sinamahan mo ako mag-CR dati, sasamahan kita ngayon. Walang problema. Ganun yan, ano? Stage 3, paano naman yung stage 3? Ito naman yung intimate, mutually shared relationship. Yung relationship nyo as friends, pag sinabi natin intimate, mutually shared relationship, parang it has its life on its own. It cannot be broken. No? Pag nakipag-usap ka sa iba, ba't ka nakipag-usap sa iba? Akala ko ba friends tayo? Alam mo, ganyan, ano? Na-offend sila kapag may kausap na iba yung friend nila. Diba? Pag tayo lang, no? Hindi pwedeng may sasaling iba. Pag may sumaling iba, hindi tayo friends. Di ba ganun yan, ano? Yan, that is intimate, mutually shared relationships, no? The friendship has its life on its own. Ganun yan, ano? Yan, life on its own yung relationship. It is an ongoing, systematic, committed relationship that incorporates more than doing things for each other. Okay. Pag stage 4, autonomous interdependence. Paano yung stage 4 autonomous interdependence? Yan yung you respect each and everyone's halimbawa, alone time. Yan yung hindi ka na nagagalit, no? Hindi ka na nagagalit pag siya nakipag-jowa sa iba. May mga ganyang friends, di ba, na pag nakipag-jowa sa kanya, di ba, bawal yan, huwag ka makipag-jowa kay ganito, ganyan. Pag may ibang friendship na kapag yung friend nila nakipag-jowa to someone else, parang hindi na sila friends na. May ganun na, no? Pero meron namang iba, they respect. Sige, okay lang. Gusto mo yan, happy ka dyan, go ahead, no problem. Kaya mapapansin nyo, yung mga ganyang klase ng friendship, after some time na hindi sila nag-meet, after some time na hindi sila na mag-meet, you will experience that when you graduate. When you graduate, you'll notice this, that when you graduate, matagal yung span na hindi kayo nagkikita, pero when you meet again elsewhere, halimbawa sa workplace, sa review center, anywhere na nag-meet kayo ulit, parang wala nangyari, ganun pa rin. Parang college days pa din. Parang high school days pa din. Ganun ba kayo sa high school? Yung mga high school friends niyo? Yan. Kasi nasa stage 4 of friendship na kayo. Kahit na hindi kayo laging nagmi-meet, pag nag-meet kayo ulit, parang walang nangyari. Ganun pa rin. Chikahan pa rin. No? Ayan. Puro pa rin. Puro paninira pa rin kung sino-sino. Ano ba nangyari kay ganito? Puro kasiraan pa rin ang ipinag-uusapan. Ganun. Ayan. Stage 4, autonomous interdependence. You get that? Ayan. So that is Selman's stage of friendship. So you should be able to distinguish. Obviously, this is very childish, no? Yan. Pero we can observe that in children, di ba? We can observe that in children na ba't ka nakipag-usap yung ganito? Kala ko ba tayo? Ayun, ganyan mga bata, di ba? Napaka-teenager ang dating. Pero when you age, as you notice, lagpas na kayo dyan. No? You respect each and everyone's needs, okay, autonomy, time, no? It's okay. Okay, so let's move forward. So kasama po yan si Selman, stage of friendship. Next, we also have types of attachment. Ayan, types of attachment. There are secure and avoidant. Okay, ambivalent and disorganized. Ainsworth po ito, no? Ainsworth attachment. Tandaan, no? It's important to know also, itong mga types of attachment ito. Bakit, sir? Kasi they reflect adulthood. No, they will reflect your attachment in adulthood. Okay? So if you have a secure attachment to your children, that will become a model of relationship later on to adulthood. Like for example, tingnan nyo ha, pag sinabi nating secure attachment, ibig sabihin, yan yung mga babies na hindi mananakaw. Yan, yung mga secure. No? Yan yung mga babies na hindi mananakaw. Bakit yan hindi mananakaw? Kasi iiyak yan pag iniwan ng primary caregiver. Di ba? Hindi yung parang kahit kanino sama. May mga ganang babies ba kahit kanino sama. Pero iba naman, pag kinuha na somewhere ng iba, iyak ng iyak. Kakalma lang pag kinuha na ni mother. Okay, secure attachment ang tawag natin dyan. Ayan, no? Pattern in which infant cries or protests when the primary caregiver lives and actively seeks out the caregiver on his or her return. Di ba? Yan yung mga babies na, in Filipino terms, yung mga hindi mananakaw na bata. Di ba? Meron silang primary caregiver. You get that? How is it important, sir, in adult life? Is it important in adult attachment? Anong oras na ba? Wala pang ano. Balitaan niyo ako, baka mamaya anong oras na ha. So, ayan ha. So, going back, when you say secure attachment, paano yung secure attachment? You have Paano ito? Paano ito secure attachment? Yun yung mga babies na hindi man nila ako, you're a primary caregiver and you only have that comfort whenever you are with that primary caregiver. How is that sir related in adult life? Sa adult life, yan yung mga individuals who only seek one partner. You get that? I will only find comfort in one single partner. Okay? They do not engage in multiple partners. You get that? Probably you have heard of this. Yung mga lalaki or babae daw na magandang relationship sa kanilang parents. Okay, usually sila yung what? Polygamous or monogamous? Monogamous. Hindi ka magkakaproblema sa kanila kapag maganda yung relationship nila sa kanilang primary caregiver. You get that? Pero kung problematic yung relationship nila with their primary caregiver, maaring maging problematic din yan later in adult life. Yan yung sinasabi ng mga object relations theories kasama sa Ainsworth, Bowlby, that your attachment during childhood, during infancy, becomes a model of adult attachment. No, they become model of adult attachment. So, pag nagkaroon kayo ng partner, no, anong gagawin nyo? Tanongin nyo, kamusta kayo ng nanay mo? Kamusta kayo ng tatay mo? Maganda ba ang relationship niyo? O, di ba? Secure ba ang attachment ninyo? Kasi otherwise, kung hindi, ayari ka. Diba? Baka mag-find ng comfort din yan sa iba. Anong klaseng attachment? O, tingnan natin yung avoidant. Pag avoidant naman, pattern in which infant rarely cries when separated from the primary caregiver. Okay lang, no? Hanap iba, okay lang. Separated from the primary caregiver and avoids contact on his or her return. Ito yung mga matampuhin. Diba? May mga baby sa matampuhin, ano? Ayan. Avoidant pattern in which infant rarely cries. Okay lang, kahit lumayo ka, I don't care. O, diba? Ganyan naman yan. Later on, pagdating sa adult life, kay Bartholomew, may parallel yan, no? They are in a relationship, yes, pero they are not totally attached. I don't care kung nandyan ka. I don't share my beliefs in life. I don't share my plans in life. We are in a relationship. We exercise the relationship. Andun yung sex, pero at the end of the day, kanya-kanya tayo. Meron mga ganyan, no? Kanya-kanya tayo. Avoidant attachment style. We'll discuss that later kay Bartholomew. Okay? Pag ambivalent resistant, pattern which infant becomes anxious before the primary caregiver leaves and is extremely upset during his or her absence. No? Para siyang secure, no? Kung papansinin ninyo. Both seeks and resists contact in his or her return. That is ambivalent resistant attachment. Ambivalent yan, typo lang yan. Ambivalent. May M yan dapat, ambivalent resistant attachment. Diba? So yan, parang hindi mo maintindihan sa individual ngayon. Pag umalis, magagalit. Pero pag balik, galit pa rin. O, diba? Galit pa rin sila. Yan. Yan yung mga nagtatanim, ano? Nagtatanim. Yan, ambivalent resistant attachment. Disorganized, disoriented, yan yung mga walang pattern. Disorganized, disoriented, sila yung mga walang pattern of attachment. Pattern in which infant, after separation from a primary caregiver, shows contradictory, repetitive, and misdirected behaviors on his and her return. There's no identified pattern doon sa infant. Disorganized, disoriented attachment. Lumalabas po ito sa board exam, ha? Kaya dapat i-memorize natin ito. Okay, yung mga types of attachment. So you have secure, avoidant, ambivalent, and then disorganized attachment. Okay, so ito yung young adulthood. As you notice, like what I have said, related yan pagdating sa young adulthood. Kung papansinin nyo, table 4.7, pinattern yan sa adult attachment. So tingnan nyo yung mga secure. Yung question is, which of the following best describes you in romantic relationship? So kung ang sagot niya, I find it relatively easy to get close to others, and I'm comfortable depending on them and having them depend on me. I don't often worry about being abandoned or someone getting too close to me. So that's what kind of attachment? Secure. Ayan. Pag avoidant naman, I am somewhat uncomfortable being close to others. So, di ba? Nahihirapan sila mag-attach to others kasi even sa parents sila, hirap sila magkaroon ng attachment. Kaya pagdating sa adult life, hirap din sila maghanap ng partner. O, di ba? Avoidant sila, being too close to others. I find it difficult to trust them completely. See? They do not find them trusting. No, difficult to allow myself to depend on them, and I'm nervous when anyone gets too close. Then anxious, ambivalent, I find that others are reluctant to get as close as I would like. So, as you notice, pattern yun, na may pattern ng attachment dun sa childhood hanggang sa adulthood. Okay. Pagdating kay Bartholomew, in-identify na yung mga different types of attachment. No? So, there are 2 dimensions of attachment. So, you have attachment related to anxiety. We call it as fear of rejection or abandonment. And then, young adults show more of this than other adults. No? Yung attachment, fear of rejection or abandonment. And then, attachment-related avoidance, fear of opening up, becoming dependent, or losing autonomy. So, yun yung 2 factors niya. Tandaan, yung fear of rejection or abandonment, we call that as anxiety. Yun yung anxiety factor, ha? Tandaan. Yun yung anxiety factor. Anxiety factor is fear of rejection and abandonment. While the avoidance factor naman would be fear of opening up, no? Being dependent or losing autonomy. Kaya so tandaan natin yan, different types of attachment. So ayan, so kapag halimbawa mataas yung kanyang avoidance, no, mataas yung kanyang avoidance, ibig sabihin anong ginagawa niya? Nag-open up ba siya? Hindi siya nag-open up. Hindi na siya nag-open up, pero takot naman siya sa abandonment. Okay, anong tawag natin doon? Takot sa abandonment, that is high anxiety. That is, anong type siya? For 7.19. Is that fearful or dismissing? Fearful, no? Fearful yan. Bakit siya fearful? Kasi nga, anong ayaw niya? Both high in avoidance and anxiety, no? Ayaw niyang ma-abandon, pero at the same time, ayaw din niya mag-open up. O anong klaseng type yon? Fearful, avoidant. Fearful siya. Pero kapag mataas naman yung avoidance, mababa naman yung anxiety, so anong ibig sabihin yan? That is dismissing. Okay, dismissing. Pero pag low in avoidance and anxiety, that is secure. Lumabas sa board exam, specifically Bartholomew. May situation sa board exam. No, in-identify. Sa board exam yung, hindi na-identify. I mean, situational yung problem. Situational yung problem. Okay? Reflecting avoidance and anxiety. And then, anong klaseng type of attachment siya? According to Bartholomew. Okay, sige, let's continue. We are now at Sternberg's theory of love. Ano yung 3 components ng love? You have passion, intimacy, and commitment. So, kapag sinabi nating passion, this is the intense physical attraction. This is the sexual component of love. No, kaya mapapansin niyo mahirap ang LDR. Napansin niyo mahirap ang LDR. Bakit mahirap ang LDR? Kasi they cannot express passion. They find it difficult to express passion. So pag nasa love talagang laging merong physical attraction, physical touch. Yes, kung tatanungin mo si Sternberg. Pero hindi ko sinasabi na ngayon ay magsipag-touch-touch kayo, no? Tapusin niyo muna ang inyong pag-aaral. Okay? Tapusin niyo muna ang inyong pag-aaral. Or bahala na kayo, matatanda na kayo, no? So, ayan, no? So, ayan, you have passion, you have intimacy, you have commitment. Yung intimacy naman, sharing feelings, personal thoughts, and psychological closeness. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating intimacy, paano yan nangyayari, no? This is when you communicate your emotions, your problems to your partner. That is intimacy. Okay? And then commitment naman, this is your decision, conscious decision to stay together. Kumbaga, pag sinabi nating passion, this is the, ayan, obviously nandyan, physical. Physical, no? Physical component. Pag intimacy, this is the emotional component. Emotional component of relationship. And commitment, this is the cognitive component. No? Cognitive component of relationship, no? That of love. That is commitment. So, para masabing meron kang consummate love or what others consider as true love, you should have all 3. No? Merong passion, may intimacy, mayroong commitment. No? That is consummate love. Okay po? Ganun po yan, ha? So, parang in essence, it's your, diba? If you're going to imply what Sternberg is suggesting, how do you make someone in love with you? How do you actually make someone in love with you? If you're going to follow Sternberg's theory, You should have, yan, physical. You should, hindi naman physical ka agad, harangin mo. Diba? Diba? You should, yan, may proximity. Diba? May proximity ka doon sa individual. There's passion, right? Presence, like what you've said. Yes, that's true, passion. Ano pa? Intimacy, you open up. You want your crush to like you as well? Magkwento ka ng problema. May oras ka ba? Kwento niya tayo. Kinento mo lahat ng problema mo, no? Tapos sabi ng crush mo, ay ako rin, ganyan din. Pinagdadaanan ko rin yan. Ano, parehas pala tayo. O, di ba tinuruan kayo, no? Ay, joke lang yun, ha? Baka gawin niya talaga yun, ha? Joke lang yun. And then you have commitment, no? Dapat stable, nandiyan ka lagi. Hindi yung on and off. O, di ba? Kung on and off ka, wala. Eventually, walang love. Ko po, Sternberg's theory of love. Ano yung 7 types? 7 types of love according to Sternberg. So yan, so you have the non-love. Pag non-love, anong element? Wala. No intimacy, no passion, no commitment. Non-love. So these are just casual interactions. Just like what I have with you. Do I have non-love? Non-love ba ako or empty? Empty. Hindi rin, no? Kasi may semester rin, no? Siguro empty love, commitment within the semester. Hanggang sa ma-accomplish ko yung role ko sa inyo, no? Siguro ganyan. Pag liking, ano yung liking? May intimacy. There's closeness, understanding, emotional support, affection, bondedness, and warmth. Pero you do not intend to stay for a long time. So in other words, yung intimacy or yung liking, maybe in the context of what? Halimbawa, with your counselors, with your therapist. No, pwedeng merong liking si therapist with you. O, di ba? Kasi you have emotion, there's closeness, there's understanding, there's emotional support. Pero you do not intend to stay with your client for a very long time. You get that? Pag commitment kasi for a very long time yan. Pinag-uusapan natin yan, ano? Pag passion naman, this is what we call as infatuation, no? Infatuation. Love at first sight lang. Okay? Kaya, do we believe love at first sight? Is it really love? No, that's only infatuation. Bakit mo siya gusto? Eh, kasi gwapo. Bakit mo siya gusto? Eh, kasi macho, no? Matangkad, tall, dark, and handsome. Ganun, no? Bakit siya mo gusto? Eh, kasi sexy, no? Maganda yung kutis, no? Makinis, so on and so forth. Di ba? Ayan, so that is passion. Okay? Love at first sight. There's a strong physical attraction and sexual arousal. Okay. Pag empty love naman, there is commitment. Found in long-term relationships that have both lost passion and intimacy. You will sometimes see this in parents. Diba? You will see this sometimes in parents. Minsan yung mga magulang ninyo, magulang nyo or ibang magulang, no? Minsan yung mga magulang, you would notice, ayaw nung nag-uusap about problema. Sabi ng nanay mo, no? Yung tatay mo, puro problema. Ayoko na pinakinggan yung problema niya. Di ba, minsan ganyan ng mga magulang, no? Nagre-reklamo yung tatay mo, puro problema ang dala. Pero if you love the person, if there is still intimacy, you will be willing to listen. Isn't it? Pero meron mga parents, ayaw na nag-uusap about problema. Okay? Wala nang intimacy. O, meron din mga magulang, ganyan, ano? Pag si tatay, bigla nang alabit. O, di ba, lumayo ka nga sa akin. May mga ganyang, di ba, no? Meron mga ganyang magulang, no? Pag kinalabit ni tatay si nanay, lumayo ka, ganyan, no? Ayan, dumistansya ka, doon ka sa, matulog. Sa kusina. Sa sala ka matulog, sa couch, ganyan. Pero they still stick together. No? They still stick together. Commitment. Maybe because of the children, yan, hanggang ganyan, no? Okay, and then there's also what we call as romantic love. Romantic love. Intimacy and passion. They cannot decide to be together for a very long time. They may be connected emotionally, they may be connected physically, but they cannot be connected for a very long time. Ang best example ng romantic love is Romeo and Juliet. No, Romeo and Juliet ang best example ng romantic love. Bakit Romeo and Juliet, sir? Kasi diba they are separated in terms of parang politics yan, di ba? Yung red tsaka blue. If you're familiar with Romeo and Juliet, di ba? Yung red na group tsaka yung blue na group, they are parang continuously fighting since time immemorial. So, ang belief nila, they cannot be together. You get that? So, that's romantic love. Intimacy and passion, Romeo and Juliet. Pag compassionate love, may intimacy and may commitment, pero no touch. No, ganyan yan. Compassionate love, no? There's intimacy, there's commitment, but there's no touch. Yan. Long-term committed friendship, often occurring in marriages in which physical attraction has died down. Wala na silang sexual interest with each other. Pero nandun pa rin yung friendship. No? Nandyan pa rin yung friendship nila, no? Ayan. Kahit na wala na yung sexual attraction ng mag-asawa, pero nandun pa rin yung kanilang friendship. Okay, ganun po yan, no? That is compassionate love, intimacy and commitment. Kapag fatuous, paano yung fatuous, sir? Pag fatuous, merong passion, merong commitment, pero walang intimacy. Ito na yung mga tinatawag natin na friends with benefits. Fatuous love, no? Yan yung mga tinatawag natin na friends with benefits, no? Ayan. So, kumbaga parang friends sila, they stick together, no? They stick together, pero do they talk about their problems? Bawal. No strings attached. Pero cognitively, alam mo na ito yung partner niya. You get that? So that is fatuous love, passion and commitment. Leads to whirlwind courtship in which a couple makes commitment on the basis of passion without allowing themselves time to develop intimacy. Naparang yun yung friends with benefits?
Yes.
Diba? Yan. Parang ganyan. Fatuous love ang tawag doon. Pero eventually, diba, they cannot avoid it. Yan. So, intimacy comes in, nagiging consummate love. Pag consummate love, merong intimacy, passion, and commitment. Okay? So, sir, yung bang consummate love, can we identify a partner to whom we can share consummate love, or is it a status na sometimes meron yan, minsan wala yan? Consummate love is what? Is it stable? No, it is not. Take note na consummate love is unstable. Okay, yung types ng love, in fact, is unstable. Minsan fatuous kayo, minsan consummate kayo, minsan kayo ay compassionate, no? Minsan romantic lang kayo, no? Or either any of the liking, infatuation, or empty. Okay? So these are status, no? Status yung mga love na yan. Kumbaga, you cannot expect that your partner will stay consummate love with you. Okay? Pero statistically speaking, kapag pinag-usapan natin yung marital satisfaction, there's in fact what kind of curve in terms of marital satisfaction? U-curve. No, meron po tayong tinatawag na U-curve in terms of marital satisfaction across time. Paano yung U-curve, sir? Ibig sabihin sa simula, kamusta yung relationship ninyo? Masaya. O, di ba? Masaya yung relationship ninyo. Honeymoon phase. You get that? Honeymoon phase. Masaya kayo, no? You do your dreams, so on and so forth. No? You go to travel places. You buy your own house, so on and so forth, your car, so on and so forth, no? Inaabot yung mga pangarap niyo. Pero eventually, when you now have more responsibilities, you have your children, bumababa ang marital satisfaction. Hanggang sa dumarating yung mga problems, dyan na yung time na pwede na umaabot na sa divorce, annulment, so on and so forth, naghanap ng ibang partner, kasi mababa na yung marital satisfaction. And that is kumbaga observed, statistically speaking, no? Hindi po yan parang story lang ng isang individual. No, observe po yan. Ibig sabihin, natural pala that the course of marriage goes through that kind of curve. Pero ulitin natin, U-curve siya ha, U-curve. If you maintain that kind of relationship despite lost interest with your partner, lost satisfaction with your partner, eventually when they age, gradually tumataas daw yan. Para kayong bumabalik sa honeymoon phase. Okay, when you're already old. You get that? Yan, ganyan pa lang yung nangyayari, no? When your children already have their own families, when you now have limited responsibilities, no? Kasi sa work mo, dahil mong responsibilities, nagka-create ng problem all in all. You get that? Bumabalik ulit yon dun sa stage wherein you are like in your honeymoon phase. U-curve. You get that? U-curve. Okay, now we have marital harmony by Gottman. So, hindi lang sa Bible, merong 4 horsemen, no? Meron ding 4 horsemen in relationship. Ano yung nag-e-end ng relationship? Ano yung marriage killers? Are there marriage killers, sir? Yan. Gottman gave an example of this. And accordingly, ano yung key in terms of a relationship? How do we maintain relationships? Good communication. So, if there's a good communication na ma-maintain si marriage, na ma-maintain si relationship. So, ano yung mga factors that would kill eventually no, yung relationships ninyo. So you have contempt, criticisms, defensiveness, and stonewalling. And accordingly, alin dyan yung pinaka-predictor that the relationship will eventually end? Alin dyan, paano mo malalaman, ay mag-i-end na to? Ay maghihiwalay na sila. It is levels yan eh. Pinakadulo would be stonewalling. So pag umabot ka na sa stonewalling, hiwalayan na yan. Hiwalayan na yan. Ano ba yung stonewalling, sir? You do not listen anymore. Kaya stonewall eh. You cannot hear what the person is saying. Okay? When you block out all possible communications, there's no more understanding between the partners. Eventually, they will separate. Okay? So, ganun yan. So, ito yung mga differences na yan. No? Pag sinabi criticism, attacking your partner's actions and personal attributes. No? So, meron ng attack on your partner's actions and personal attributes. Kumbaga, yung criticism, reactive siya. May ginawa si partner mo, nag-react ka in that manner, you criticize what your partner did. Reaction siya, no? Pero yung contempt, active. Okay, you actively want to insult your partner. So if in the relationship nakikita mo ay ini-insult na ako ng partner ko intentionally, no? Meron ng insult given to me, halimbawa, ano ba ini-insult niya sa'yo? For example, it can be your personal attributes din, pero ulitin natin, pag contempt kasi, ano pinag-aaban niya sa criticism? Yung criticism, nauna yung partner. Then you criticize you react on it. Okay, nakukuha? Reaction siya, yung criticism. Pero yung contempt, you actively insult your partner. Baga, wala ka namang ginagawa, iniinsulto ka. O, you get that? Wala ka namang binago, wala kang ininsult. That is contempt. Kuha po. Ayan. Nagluto ka, inatake yung niluto mo, criticism yun. O, you get that? Ayan. Defensiveness naman, ayan, playing the victim. Ito na yung mga fault finding. Pag defensiveness, you play the victim, no? Play the victim to reverse the blame. Yan, fault finding. Sisiyan na kayo. Pag nagsisisiyan na, ayan na, patapos na yan. Patapos na, no? Pag nagsisisiyan na. Pag fault finding na, ayan. Playing the victim, reverse the blame. And then finally, sawa ka na, ay yung mga pinag-uusapan mga problema, stonewall. You block any forms of communication. Babay na. Yan, no? Stonewalling. So, may mga suggested, ito yung mga suggestions nasa right. No? Suggested how do we avoid this 4 horsemen of relationship. Yan, so you have gentle communication, you have appreciation, and finding your own part. Okay? And then finally, you have self-soothing. Okay, so ganyan po, ito po yung what do you call this? Marital harmony or Gottman's 4 horsemen of relationship. Grandparenting, so matatanda na tayo. Grandparenting. There are 3 types of grandparenting. So kung mayroong parenting style, meron din tinatawag na grandparenting style. So paano naman yung grandparenting style according to Charlene Fastenberg? Ayan, so you have remote. Paano yung remote? You live far away or have distant relationship. Yan, no? So contact typically made on special occasions only. Yan, so that is remote. Kapag may birthday, kapag may patay, no, doon lang sila nakikita-kita. Minsan ganun, no, pagpatay sa kanila nakikita-kita. Minsan birthday, nakakalimutan nga. No? Pero pag may patay na, reunion. Kung kailan may patay sa kami, reunion. So, maganda kung magagawa nyo, sana. Hanggang buhay pa, di ba? You appreciate everyone. Okay? Contact is typically made on special occasions only. That is remote. Kapag companionate, ito yung mga kasama sa bahay, pero do they have rules? Do they have, can they make rules in the family? Wala. Do things with grandchild but have little authority or control over them. Sino pa rin nasusunod? Si parents. Parents pa rin. That is companionate. Kasama lang tagabantay. Okay? Pero sino nasusunod pa? Again, si parents pa rin. Pag involved, take very active role in grandchild's life. No? So, may include grandparents who raise their grandchildren. Diyan nagkakaroon ng conflict. Di ba? Yung tinatawag natin na, anong tawag natin dyan? Is this emptiness or clutteredness? Kapag meron ng involved grandparenting. That is what you call as clutteredness. Di ba? Familiar kayo sa emptiness and clutteredness? Ano yung emptiness? Pag emptiness, yung mga anak mo, nagkaroon na ng sariling pamilya. Yun yung emptiness. Nag-aalisan na yung mga anak mo, no? Kaya emptiness ang tawag. Nag-aalisan na yung mga anak mo. So, empty. Nest. Empty nest. Pugad. Empty nest. Sorry. Empty nest. No, pag sabi empty nest, no, wala na yung mga anak mo, lumilipat na sa sarili nilang bahay, ganyan, ano? And kapag sinabi yung emptiness, listen carefully. Pag sinabi nating emptiness, is that positive or negative? Is emptiness positive or negative? That is positive. That is positive. Bakit siya positive, sir? Kasi nga, that may be liberating. No, emptiness is liberating for the parents. Okay, kasi hindi na ako magluluto ng agahan. Okay, hindi na ako nagpapaaral, di ba? So you can now do the things that you would like to do. No, that you are prevented of kasi yung mga anak mo nandyan. Naglilinis ng mga kalat, so on and so forth. You get that? That is what you call as emptiness. And emptiness, I repeat, is a positive experience kasi it is liberating. Yun ang sabi ng books. Yun ang sabi ng books, ha? It is liberating. Pero, kung titignan mo maigi, sige, I will ask you. Yung emptiness, do you think it is liberating in a collective culture? No. O, diba? In a collective culture, collectivist culture, parang di naman siya negative, diba? Ay, parang di naman siya positive. Kung individualist ka, baka oo, liberating yon. Applicable yung liberating. Yan ang sa books, no? Pero if you're going to contextualize it in terms of culture, collectivist, individualist culture, emptiness may be considered as negative for Asians. You get that? Ganun po yun. Pero pag sinabi naman natin na halimbawa, cluttered nest. Ano yung cluttered nest? Is that positive or negative? Cluttered nest, bumabalik yung mga anak mo sa bahay nyo. May sarili na silang pamilya, pero titira ulit sila sa bahay ninyo. Ang tawag doon ay cluttered nest. Cluttered nest, no? Or also referred to as boomerang phenomenon. Boomerang phenomenon or cluttered nest. Okay? Boomerang phenomenon or cluttered nest. So, pag sabi ng boomerang phenomenon or cluttered nest, yung mga anak mo na who already lived on their own, bumabalik siya sa bahay mo, no? To live with you because of financial issues, marital conflict, ni children mo, yung mga anak mo lumaki na. Okay? That becomes what you call as cluttered nest. Nakuha po? Okay, clutteredness po ang tawag natin doon. So, question natin, yung clutteredness, is that positive or negative? Okay, again, sa books, that is negative. Bakit siya negative? Kasi merong conflict of rules. Sino masusunod? Si nanay o si lola? O, diba? Kapag nagkaroon ng clutteredness, diyan nagkakaroon ng conflict. Diba? Doon nagkakaroon ng conflict. Sino nasusunod? Si nanay ba o si lola? You get that? Eh, bahay ko ako masusunod. Sabi ng lola, no? Kapit bahay. Yung bata. Sino na masusunod? Yung bata. Oh, you get that? Nakukuha natin? Ayan. Pero ulitin natin, again, if you're going to contextualize that, is that really true? Maybe you can do it into research, no? Why not do it into a research just to find out what is really true? Ang clutteredness nga ba talaga is negative for Filipinos? Why not research on that? Diba? Why not research on that? At least meron tayong data. Kasi at the end of the day, we're just hypothesizing. Diba? We're just hypothesizing at the end of the day. Nakuha po? Ayan. And then finally, retirement kay Ashley. Ito yung different stages of attachment. You have remote, pre-retirement phase, thinking about retirement. Then immediate pre-retirement phase, making concrete plans. Then what happens? Third stage is actual retirement. Then you have the honeymoon phase. During honeymoon phase, participate in activities to anong ginagawa sa honeymoon phase? You now participate in activities that would realize your plans. No? How would you realize your plans? Halimbawa, thinking about retirement. Ano mo gagawin ko pag nag-retire ako? Halimbawa, I plan to, ayun na, meron ka ng concrete plan. I plan to put up my own farm. Kunyari, ganun, ano? You want to put up your own farm. Yan, ano? Yan, farm. No, actually, retirement, sige, nakuha mo na yung pera mo. Okay, nakuha mo na yung lump sum mo, no? You're now retired. You now have the money to do so. During honeymoon phase, you're now looking for lots. That's the honeymoon phase, no? Tumitingin ka na ngayon ng mga farmland, saan ko puput up yung farm ko. Kailangan ko ng mga binhi, no? Kailangan ko ng mga hayop. Saan ako kukuha niyan? Na-realize niya ang hirap pala. Hirap pala magtayo ng farm. Whether it's fish pond, the farm, bangus farm, or whatever kind of farms that. Di ba? Ang hirap pala. Di ba? Kasi kailangan mong i-maintain, all in all. You get that? Pagdating ng disenchantment phase, ito na yung emotional letdown. They now realize, mahirap pala yung mga plans sila. Given that they're already old, they already have cataracts, different kinds of diseases, ganyan ano? Yan. So, nagkakaroon ng disenchantment phase. And then finally, reorientation phase, they now adjust their retirement plans. Okay? Hindi na ako magtatayo ng farm. Ano na lang? Simplify plans. Okay? Garden na lang. Di ba? From farm, naging garden. O, di ba? Simplify your plans. And then regular routine, yung something that is doable by the individual. Okay po? Ayan. So, I guess that's the last part of the lecture. Tama. And then last part of the lecture, saktong-sakto lang sana. Ulitin ko, mag-aral po kayo ha, kasi hindi lahat ng lalabas sa diagnostic, yung diniscuss ko lang. Okay? May mga lalabas obviously, pero hindi yan lang. Okay, so, yung mga binigay kong notes sa inyo, aralin nyo rin yan. Halimbawa, prenatal stage, yung mga ganyan, aralin nyo yan. Yung mga sakit, kasama yan ha. Hindi natin inaral yung mga sakit, pero kasama yan. Although, nasa reviewer nyo yun. So, I hope you are reviewing outside our classes ha. Oh, yan. Sige. That will reflect in your diagnostic test. Sige ha. I see you all next meeting. Wala nang dediretso dito. Diretso tayo sa admissions. 403. Sige, bye-bye guys. See you next meeting.